Hey meteorologist, today we're gonna be creating a Unity project where we will be animating a sprite from a sprite sheet to walk up, down, left and right based on the button inputs from the keyboard. So let's start right away. We're gonna create a new project. And by the way, as I have there is also a PDF guide with step by step of how to do this, and on top of that there is this video. So there's a PDF guide of steps by step, this video, and I will also upload the sprite sheet so you can download and work with that. Let's go ahead and create our new project. We're gonna make a universal 2D project. We're gonna call it sprite walk sprite. And I don't want it to connect to my Unity cloud. I'm gonna create the project now. It is starting. Okay, finally the project is created, and as you can see, it's a 2D project. I will like this project to be a full HD project, so the resolution is on 920, 1080. There we go. I should have maybe called it something like a full screen something. All right, so I'm gonna make a folder. I'm gonna have our sprites in there. In that folder, I'm gonna put the sprite we downloaded, which you guys also have downloaded. It's on the Moodle page. So as you could see, so what I did here is simple. I just took this here and I dragged it in here. Now I have it twice. I would just did that for you guys to see what I did. But I'm gonna delete this. There you go. So now we have our sprite sheet. This is what we have to work with. This is what is on. You can make to make the animation in the game and control it. A sprite mode, it should be in multiple, not single, which is true here. And then also what we want this sprite sheet to have is filter mode. We don't want any filter mode. Also, we don't want any compression. So because we want as high quality as possible for this sprite. Okay, now we can simply press our sprite again and open the sprite editor. Unapplied importing for us. Apply these changes. Yes, apply them. The sprites change is open over here. Here's our sprite editor. So what we're gonna do is to press here and type. We're gonna press the grid by cell size. So it will automatically grid it for us, and we want the pivot to be in center. Like this is already here, and press slice button. Boom, it should look like this now. Your sprite editor is ready to go, and we have the sprite, like for instance, just hanging out. This one, sprite 18. Remember that one. We're gonna press apply, and then we're gonna close this. Good. Now let's go to the 18 and drag it into our scene. You see what I did? I simply pressed this button. I went down to number 18 here and found it up here. Here is our guy. As you can see in our scene, he's a little bit small, and there is no shame in scaling. There is no point in scaling on the Z-axis, but there's no shame on scaling him, so we can better see his movements. I'm scaling him with 3, so it gets a little bit bigger and easier for us to see. And then boom, now we have our guy in here. So next step for us is to use the input system to create the animation for him. So not the animation, that actually use the input system to get button inputs from our keyboard in that case to move this guy around on the scene. So I'm gonna create a new folder. I'm gonna call it inputs with a capital S for some reason. Then I'm gonna choose an input action here. I'm gonna call it player movement. Then I'm gonna open it over here. So this is our player movement. I'm gonna make a new action map, call it in-game. So this one is gonna be the in-game action map. Let's say if you had a menu for your game, you want like to have a menu action map, so the button presses from your controller would control different stuff, like we do different stuff compared to the in-game. When you are in-game, you move your character around, you shoot, you jump, and so on. But then you could, if you want, make another action map for menu, another action map for something else, etc. But today we're gonna just look at in-game action map for our moving our character around. So what I did here is I simply deleted this one because I want to create a new one here. Oh shit. I want to create a new one here, and I want to call it movement. The name of this is very important because this is what we're gonna use as reference when we code, when we like write the C# script to get this thing moving. Action type, we're gonna look for values because we want to move left, right, up, down, and that's why we need X, Y. So movement left, right is gonna be on the X, Y axis. So on the X axis, 1 would be moving forward, -1 would be moving backward. And what is a type that has 2 values, 1 for X, 1 for Y? It's vector 2. Those of you who are not familiar with it, vector 2 is basically just, like, for now, you should think as it as a container for 2 values, X and Y. You will get much more information about this during your math course next semester, but for now, this is what it is. And then we're gonna make a new, what you call it, binding here. So I'm gonna remove this binding here, and we're gonna have the up, down, left, right binding. For the sake of it, I would like to call it the WSAD here. Gonna open it. So this is up, down, left, right. What should be up? By up, it means it will give Y, the Y value of the vector 2, 1. Down will give the Y value of vector 2, -1. And then I can now choose what button in my on my computer should activate this up. So I would like W. So I just write W here. Boom. Now W will activate the up movement. Down, I want S. S is down here. Left, I want A. A is over here. And right, I want D, and D is over here. Cool. Now we have everything. Now we have everything we need. Then we move down, down again. So actually that is, we're gonna just save these assets for now. We don't need anything else, and we're gonna just, now we're gonna, let's rename this guy to our human or our character or whatever. Give it a nice name. And then now we want a player input. So this is gonna be our player input. And I'm gonna give it our player movement as its actions. There we go. Then also, because if you want to move stuff in Unity, you need to give it physics. Rigid bodies is a Unity component that gives your stuff physics. So just give it a rigid body, but then also remove, we don't need it to be affected by gravity. So we put that to 0. Cool. Now we want to create a script to move this guy around based on our player input that we created here. So we're gonna create a folder. We're gonna call it script folder here. And I'm gonna right click here. I'm gonna write mono behavior. I'm gonna call this player movement. Right, I'm gonna open it. There we go. And what we are going to be using is the Unity's input system. So we're gonna be using the Unity engine input system to get the WSAD buttons from it. And then we are also going to be needing a vector 2 that we can apply to our character. So we're gonna make a private vector 2. We're gonna call it movement, and vector 2, as you could see, is a representation of two-dimensional points, so x and y in this case. And also we want to affect our physics. And as I told you, the physics is the rigid body 2D, my body. There we go. And we could also have like something like a serialized fill is something you can change. Then you can change it in the inspector and still keep it private. I'm gonna give it the speed, and the speed is gonna be 5, but we will be able to change the speed in the inspector in a second. Cool. I'm not gonna use the start here. I'm gonna use awake because awake just runs once when the program starts. Boom, there we go. And I want it only to run once because I want just give it my body. Like we created my body here, you see, but it's empty. It doesn't know what its body is. So I tell it, hey, go ahead and get the component. Get component. It doesn't give me fucking this keyboard. I forgot. I got a new keyboard, and now the shortcuts are a little bit weird. So what I'm gonna do is to get the rigid body 2D. So I'm gonna tell it to go ahead and get me the rigid body of the thing I am attached to right now. So my body will now control the rigid body of the whatever this script is gonna be attached to. Control S. Then we are going to be creating another. We're gonna remove update also for now. And we're gonna create another function here, private void, and we're gonna call this one on movement. And here it's very important that we call it, that we called our input action movement, when you remember. So now on movement will listen for what's happening in the player input movement with the WSAD, and it will affect this input value we create here, and it will give it to, this is gonna basically be a vector 2, and movement, now we're gonna say movement or vector 2 in this scene, its value should be the value of this vector 2D here, and it's like a method to get it. So I'm gonna make the parentheses. So as you see now, on movement, it will listen for the value from the input action. So where is our input? So it will listen for movement. So once on movement it will always listen for this, and now when we have sent it here, so it always knows what's going on, and it knows it's called movement. It will change it based on that. Okay, and then when you guys do physics-based stuff, it is often recommended to use fixed update instead of normal update because it's more efficient when like for stuff like moving around the scene and so on. And now we're gonna assign my body. This is our rigid body. We're gonna say its velocity. I think they changed unity, so now I'm just gonna call it linear velocity. Its linear velocity is gonna be equal movement times, oh god damn it, this keyboard times button is also, I should send you guys a picture of my fancy keyboard. Speed. There we go. So I'm gonna close this side. So we're gonna take our script player movement and put it on our human. And go down here and write player movement, and I press enter now, or pick it like this here. Boom. And because we made a serialized field for speed, if you remember, we made a serialized field, so it appears here. So I can change it to 6 or 5 or whatever. Now I should be able to move my character around when I press play. Yeah, so I press D, A, W, S, and this guy is actually moving around in the scene, which is beautiful. But what about animating him? So that he actually walks up and down and left and right. To do that, we need to give this guy an animator. There we go. And every animator in Unity needs an animation controller. So we're gonna create a folder here for all animation stuff. And then I'm gonna go here, create, and I want a animator controller, something that controls our animation. Then I'm gonna call it movement animations controller, whatever. Cool. And I'm gonna give it to our, where is it? Down here, to our animator. So this is gonna be your controller, dear animation controller. And then we need to get our, oh, it's already here. If you don't have this here already, you can open it by going to Windows, Animation, and Animation. And then you will get this thing here. Now we need to create some animations. And in order to create animations for our human, we need to press the human. We're going to press create. And then we're going to write idle up. I'm going to have an animation called idle up. What will I have in that animation? I will tell you in a second. What I would like to do is to have my project folder up next to my here, so I can grab stuff from one of them and put them down to the next one. And I can do it like this. So you can just grab this and then pull it up, as I did. So I don't know if you saw it. It was down here, right? But then I grabbed it and then I pull it up. And then I move it. There we go. I move it here and then I release it here. Then I can make it a little bit bigger. And as you can see, I can now access my my sprite and then tell it what is idle up sprite. I need to change the view here so it actually shows me. How do I change the view? I forgot about that. I just make it bigger here. There we go. Maybe a little bit smaller. Cool. So idle up, that's gonna be this guy. Gonna pull this down here. Boom. Control S. Now idle up is simply this animation. So it will look up. Now I'm gonna create a new one. Call it idle down. And idle down will be this one. Boom. The new animation. Idle right. And on the idle right, we want this guy. And I'm gonna create a new one, call it idle left. And idle left will be this one. So now we have 4 animations. Now we need to go to our animator controller and make it like program it to do what we want it to do. And we do that by coming here. We need to first pick our animation controller. Is here animation controller? This one. So as you see, it automatically plays the animations we have created, but we don't want them. So I'm gonna hold Shift, press them all, right click, delete them all, because we don't need them for now. Then you create a new blend tree. So you right click, create step from new blend tree here. And then you double click the blend tree. Our blend tree is going to be a 2D simple directional like this. And we don't want to work with this blend variable. So I'm going to delete that parameter. We're going to make 2 new parameters. And those parameters are going to be, yeah, I'm going to make float, but maybe int would make more sense because it's just 1 and zeros. But for now, I'm just going to make 2 floats, x and y. And then we want to, in our blend tree, create 4 different directions. We wanted to look at the parameters x and the parameter y. And then we wanted to have 4 motion fills here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we wanted to like control our idle up, our idle down, our idle left, and our idle right. So up, as I told you, is plus on the y-axis. And Okay, maybe I can show you guys the PDF I made so you better understand what's going on here. So as you can see here, and this PDF you also have access to, moving to right means X is 1. So this is what we are moving around on. And moving to right is X is 1, Y is 0. Then you move to right. But if Y is -1, then your character moves down. And if X is -1, then your character moves to left. So I hope that helps you understand what I'm talking about. So in that case, moving idle up is Y1, X0, idle down. Y-1, X0, left is idle X-1, 0, and then right is 1, 0. There you see. But now we need to like actually change this animation based on the code again. So what's going on? So we need to add some stuff to our script for it to better understand when to change the animation. So now we need to be able to control our animator. So these parameters, we have now made a motion tree. So if this value becomes 1, then it will move, change to animation idle right. And if this becomes -1, X becomes -1, it will play the animation idle left. If Y become 1, it will play animation idle 1 because 1 is here. And if Y become -1, it will play animation idle down. But how can we change these two guys? We can change them through our script. So let's open the script. Here it is. And we are now still in the on movement. Because on movement, we get some input from from Unity, from our input system, and that we wanted to be able to control our animator, the XY values in our animator. So now we need to first create an animator here that we can control. We're gonna call it my animator, and like we did with rigid body, right now my animator is super empty. We're gonna tell it, my man, don't worry about it. You should just get the component animator like before. So get component animator. Okay, there we go. So now I got my component animator. That is perfect. Okay, now we're gonna change the X and Y of my animator when on movement changes, and then we're gonna give the my animator X and Y whatever value the on movement button from our keyboard has with the WSAD. How we're gonna do that is by pressing by like making an if statement here. So if the movement X value R, so this sign is for R, movement Y value, because movement is vector 2, and they have it has two values, a Y and an X. Oh yeah, it's not equal to 0. And also over here, if the X is not equal to 0, we are going to oh, it does have a problem with my and for some reason. I should write 0 here. Sorry, I'm tired. There we go, 0. Then, so if one of them is changed, is either X or Y is changing from the input value, so from keyboard input, what we are going to be doing is, I'm just gonna do like this. So we're gonna put what's gonna happen here. We're gonna say my animator, we're gonna change the floats in my animator. So we're gonna say the X in my animator is now gonna be the same as movement X. And we're also gonna say my animator, we're gonna also change its Y float. So we're gonna say it's Y. So you see when you write it, it's a set float. What does it mean? It's a set float value to the animator to affect transitions. So the Y of the animator should become whatever value is here in the second variable. So now if I press play, this guy, as you can see, he moves to left, he moves to right, he moves up and down and like this. So he looks to the direction. If I press D, if I press A, if I press W, and if I press A. It's all good now, it's all good, but now we want to know how to actually make him walk. So the walk cycles that was in our sprite sheet. How do we bring that into our scene? And for that, we are going to make a is walking boolean. So once that is going on, then it's gonna play walking animation. And then we are going to change the what you call it, so the script, so that it will, once this either this or this is not 0, then is walking is equal true. So it should play walking animation. So my animator, so now because the if, we already have the if we need. So now we can just say my animator set bool. We call the bool, oh, it's a string, so we need these two guys next to it. Is walking. So we set is walking to true. But if it's not, if these are not, what you call it, movement x is not 0, is not equal to 0, and if movement y is not equal to 0. So remember this, if only this together means equal to, but if you put one of these, it's that it's not equal to. So if this is not true, we're gonna put my animator set bool is walking to false. Okay, so now we're gonna make new animations. So we're gonna press our human. We're gonna create new animation. We're gonna make one walk up. And our walk up, we need to look at our sprite again. Where is the sprite? Here. Walk up is everything from here to here. This is the walk up animation. And I pressed this, and then I hold shift down. And I press this, and then I'm gonna pull them down here. And I would like it to take a little bit longer time. I don't know how this will look, but we're gonna find out. I pull it up to 30 seconds. Then I'm gonna make a new one. It's gonna be walk down. So walk down starts here, holding shift down to here. And also pairing this one up to 30 seconds. Create a new clip. Gonna call it walk left. Walk left, it starts here and until here. Shift down, press the last one, pull it down here. And this is like how long time it's gonna take, how fast the animation is gonna play. There we go. And then, and you guys can play around with it as you feel like it. Then we have walk right, like this. And then walk right is from here to here. Pull this down, and I'm gonna do this like this. Good, good, good. Now we have 4 new animations. Let's go into our animator, to our base layer. As you can see, we have a blend tree here, but it also created these animations. We don't want them. We're gonna create a new blend tree, and we're gonna call this the walk blend tree. And how do we change the name of this blend tree? Let me see. I can maybe double click it. No, right click. Seriously, because I would like. Here it is. We can change the name here. I will call this one walk blend tree, and we will call this one idle. Oh, idle blend tree. Blend tree. There we go. And we want, so this is what's going to happen from the beginning, but we want to make a nice transition between idle and walking. So how do we do that? We right click here, we make a transition, boom, and then transition to here. And what does this transition mean? Means that it will change from blend, this blend tree, where we had all our idle animations, idle up, idle down. We want it to go to a walk blend tree. And when do we want it to do that? We want it to do that when, what I did is I press condition here. Condition is like what should be true for me to go from idle blend tree to walk blend tree. I press plus, I say is walking. So you should go from idle blend tree to walk blend tree if is walking is true. And the same way, make transition the other way. Go from walk blend tree to idle blend tree if is walking is false. Then we should stay chill and stay what you call it, idle without moving much. Without moving much. Also, we don't want it to have an exit time for the transition. Now we can go in here and we basically have to do the same as what we did before with the idle blend tree. 2D simple directional, it should take in X and Y, and it should have 4 motion fields. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we should go and give it our animations. Oh shit, where did it save the animations? Oh, it saved the animations in the script. I'm gonna cut these guys out of here. Oh, there's no, so I'll shift down, I press Control X for cut. Then I just bring them to my animation just to keep things clear. Good. Now I go to my blend tree. Go to blend tree. I pull walk up here. I put, no, that was walk down, of course. I put walk down there, walk up here, walk left here, and walk right here. So like before, walk down is when the y-axis is -1. Walk up is when the y-axis is +1. Walk left is when the x-axis is -1. And walk right is when the x-axis is +1. And as you see, it got this beautiful walking here. So now it should basically work by, we have made the transitions. We took if we go from walking blend tree to this blend tree, and it will change our script. Will basically change is walking. I hope it works. Let's see. Yeah, so here you go. It's changing to walk, and then it stops. Up, 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 down, 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 down. Right, 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 right. Left, 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 left. Up, 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 up. Down, 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 down. Yeah, there we go. And once it stopped walking, it just plays the idle animation. Now you guys can play around with this and hope everything will work beautifully for you guys. See you soon, I hope.